Mimi nataka niwaulize wa Kenya, vile tuliamua 2022 kumaliza ukabila, hiyo ukabila tuzike kabisa katika kaburi la sahau.
The kingpin, the leader is Moses Masika Wetangula. Whether you don't like how he looks, you don't like how he dresses.
Ati wako na papa ya Roma huko. Watu wanafanya watu wa Luya tunakuwa watu wa brand of jokes everywhere.
Mabishano, mivutano, mikutano yote ifanyike ili UDA iwe imara.
Sasa upinzani iko wapi? Lazima tuungane mkono tusaidie serikali yetu.
Mtaona ndege zikipita hapo Bungoma, mwanze kuambia Waluya tuko kwa serikali. Mtaona wanajeshi wanapiga saluti, mwanze kuambia Waluya tuko kwa serikali. Serikali yenye haina barabara sio serikali bwana.
Mheshimiwa Atuoli, wewe umetutawala tangu 1992. Atipaka saa hii tena wewe tukuje kwako, wewe utuchagulie kiongozi. Hii maneno Atuoli tunakuambia, yo Buhungu 3 tunasema nini?
Ndukaiguire mware wanyu kwa oiru atene hikio ne gitonga. Gitonga kiu hi nikio gigathomithia ciana ciaku. Rekei twendane. Rekei tunyitanire. Ndorire iria ingeitirwaga cikaraga ciaraia kimwe.
For the sake of political discipline, we must respect the office of the deputy president. We must respect the presidency.
Ukikosea heshima naibu wa rais, umekosea Rais William Ruto heshima. Kwa sababu hawa ni chanda na pete. Na hawa ni presidency. You cannot separate them.
I want to encourage you as members of parliament to represent your constituencies effectively, but to also move around Kenya so that you understand and discharge your responsibilities better of oversight and of legislation.
Kila mtu achunge constituency yake. Stay in your constituency. Sasa wewe umechaguliwa pahali ingine, interest yako kesasi ni gani? Uko na interest? Sasa wewe unakuja kuangaisha mjumbe na wewe uko na kwako. Mimi hiyo maneno staki. What we don't want is political tourism.
Your job of representation is about your constituency. Ile kazi ingine mbili imebaki is not about your constituency. It is about the nation of Kenya. Na ile bunge is not a village parliament.
I have seen an argument yesterday, somebody arguing that for call of unity of our region, we can be isolated. Why would anybody isolate us or being united? Why? How can unity be a bad thing? Is unity a bad thing? Unity is a good thing. I don't think anybody can say that because we are united, we should be isolated. I think that is very retrogressive talk.
Watu wa Mount Kenya ama Wakikuyu wanataka waitwe constituency yao ni Kenya. Sio hapa Mount Kenya, sijui sisi watu wa Mount Kenya, sijui sisi watu wa Western, hapana.
We want development to run across the Kenya as a nation. We want one Kenya, one nation, one people. We want development to go in all corners of this republic.
Sisi hatujasema tunaambia mtu atoke. Sisi tunasema ya kwamba kila mtu ako na haki yake ya kuwa na maoni ya kuinuka awe kiongozi wa juu. Atoke mahali yuko aende mahali pengine.
Si husiki na chochote. Kama wanadai kuna ulaghai, basi ulaghai huo haukufanywa na mimi, bali umefanywa labda na wahusika wengine.
I am confident that the friendship established amongst yourselves will contribute to strengthening our bilateral ties and accelerating Pan-African unity and integration.
The people of South Africa will give the ANC, as they vote today, a firm majority. So in my mind, in my head, and in my thought processes, There isn't even a doubt about that.
This vote is my first time not to vote for ANC. I've been voting for ANC since 2002. I think so, yeah. Since 2002.
Zuma ran this country perfectly, so I don't know why they removed him off. So let's put him back and let South Africa run again, once again.
We want to work with the ANC. If there's any party that we can work with and work properly, it's the ANC. Because ANC, when compromised, is not arrogant.
Whoever becomes president will be told that you're going to give President Zuma political pardon, presidential pardon, and when he gives the presidential pardon, we'll bring President Zuma back in his National Assembly, put him back as president. Simple as that, before we even change the constitution.
There is a soapbox, of course, giving you the landscape and the lay of the land as far as politics is concerned here in the country, and also doggedly following what is happening in South Africa with the elections as well. And this is what earlier that Victor had drawn, right? Dropping the mic, so the mics are dropping, so to speak, if you know it. And this is the current state of play, as you can see. Feisty statements, the verbal ping pong that we have, and the barbs that are being thrown and bandied around raise questions regarding the unity of UDA as it stands right now. And I'll begin with you, Honorable Sosion, or maybe I should begin with the picture, which is, or the person who's out of the frame. He's not in the picture, Dr. Makali Mulu or Dr. James Chikal as well, too, because we'll have the biased view of UDA from, let's hear the unbiased view.
Yeah.
Why do you think it is biased?
You know, the truth of the matter is UDA may not want to say it, but looking at the history of this country and how parties have been able to move from one stage to the other, I think UDA is in problems. They have serious challenges. And when you look at the way the exchange between the president and the deputy president, this is not new in this country.
There's no political tourism.
We've seen it in the past.
A village parliament.
And the end time, it has started the way it is starting. It has ended up in chaos. So I can tell you for sure it's a matter of time. It's a matter of when, not whether. And very soon, don't be surprised to talk about the deputy president looking for a party,
a new party,
of Wisoni being a reality. And when that happens, then you'll go to have functions of UDA, which now start competing. And that will be now the start of the breakout of UDA. We'll have several parties out of UDA. And even this idea of them merging to one party is likely to die very soon. Because now, once you see this, I'm sure anybody will be very careful whether you want to kill your party and join UDA, or you want to still stand on your own. So I think from what Mosari is saying, he might have to change his mind. That he maintains this ANC instead of dissolving it and joining UDA. Because UDA is already in chaos, you can see it. The other thing which is important is, I don't know why, but those of us who are in politics, and the good thing is the three of us are in politics, we have our own loyalists. So that anytime the loyalist talks, you can see the main man talking. And I've been analyzing the current president, and I can tell you for sure, anytime you see this gentleman from
Sudi,
Honorable Sudi, anytime you see Sudi talk and the kind of confidence, he expresses himself, the way he expresses himself with a lot of confidence, I always see the voice of the president in it. You remember the other day he was saying he can't be controlled by anybody, and he'll be able to move everywhere in Kenya so that he can meet other MPs and promote national unity. The president did say it yesterday. Was it yesterday in church? Where he said MPs should be free to move anywhere. And I think I agree with him that as members of parliament, we should not be constrained to our constituencies, basically because we have a national representation. We are members of the National Assembly. National Assembly, which means whatever we do at our level, other than the representation where you represent a small constituency, any other agenda you have as a member of parliament should be a national agenda. And the issue of being restricted to a constituency, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. So members of parliament should be able to be able freely to move to different areas.
But was his statement taken out of context? The deputy president's statement.
Yeah, I think what actually it was, because what he was saying, what he was saying is, because of this division, which is now coming up between the president and the deputy president, there are members of parliament, in quotes, who believe they are on the side of the president, who would go to other constituencies where members of parliament are, in quotes, not believed to be within the president's camp, and undermine them in their own constituencies. And we have seen it happen. And I think that statement is a statement of fact. I would not expect any member of parliament from whatever corner of this country to come to my own constituency and undermine me without my presence. And I think it's like a general, it's a general practice in Parliament that even by the time I visit Honorable Nyikao's constituency, I would actually call him as a matter of courtesy.
So we need to paint it in that particular context.
Yeah,
because the whole picture where we're saying the deputy president has not said you go to other constituencies, I think is being misconstrued completely.
Yeah, because basically I think he was undermining the issue. And when you narrow it to the undermining bit, I think he was right. Because even me, from where I sit, I would not take it kindly that you would come to my constituency and start undermining me. And we have seen it happen, where they would go to somebody's constituency, they say bad things about the member of parliament and he's not there. I think that is not fair. As a member of parliament, you should be able to go to your constituencies, your colleague's constituency with a bit of respect. Inform him, I will be there. And even when you are there, even if you don't like him, don't say negative things about him. Let the people, Eastern people, see these things. But we have seen this, and I think that's the context. But all said and done, what we are seeing in the ODAs, automatically, that will lead to a breakout of the two functions, so that we have two teams coming up.
So, Honorable Session, I think this is really blown out of proportion, as it were, if you read the reality of the ground of what we can hear from Mheshimiwa Makale Mulu, right? He's on the right trajectory to protect his staff as well, as the deputy president, if there are other intruders who are coming to undermine him. But of course, being also a consummate politician, we know he wouldn't really come and say that you cannot really come over to my constituency.
Yeah, number one, Dibal, UDA is a very large party, very massive, with a lot of members. And one thing I can attest here from this show is that UDA is a very democratic party. Very often, members don't hide feelings under the table. We've seen it. Even ministers, when they have reservations, raise their concerns, and eventually we attain a stable political equilibrium. What you are witnessing is merely ideological difference, which is normal. And that's how to grow democracy. Let people express themselves ideologically. At the various structured forums, all those matters will be addressed.
I struggle to get the party leader. No, before you move on, I struggle to get the ideology. Maybe you can actually elucidate for us what is this ideology struggle that is ongoing to us. Instead of just throwing words here, every word really matters that you throw.
Of course, Makale Mulu has talked of what Oscar Sudi said in a certain place.
What is the ideology?
For example, of course, Oscar Sudi said, I will go to any constituency, which is okay.
How is that an ideology?
And the Mul, it's an ideology. If we are talking about national unity, should be able to move across the country and integrate with and that is what the president underscored. And if you watch at the end of the day, UDA party has a party leader. That's what we all agree. UDA party has a party leader. The party leader is the president. He has given guidance. And that is what we follow. The rest of the issues will adjust themselves naturally. As to the issues of the politics of the mountain, of course there are other issues, there are other contestations that are of course very obvious at that level. So they'll be sorted out at that level, democratically, but within the framework of the UDA party. So I'll tell Makali Muli and those who are thinking alike that don't behave like hyenas that was following a man and hoping that a hand will eventually drop. You will wait for Jesus come back. Jesus will come back while you are still waiting for that hand to fall. UDA is a democratic party. Let me tell you, it's a large party, and as you can see, the grassroots elections are being undertaken. That is the main focus. All these other issues. Rigathi Gachagua is free to go anywhere in the country to talk and interact with people and to deputize the president. As far as we know in the party leader is William Ruto, the deputy party leader is Rigathi Gachagua, and if the president has a different opinion that is different from everyone, he will state, and he has stated. If Gachagua also has, he can state, but eventually there are structures of the party and governance that will eventually create an equilibrium for all this. So people should not get excited, and we can see in the headlines, you make it look like there is a big war when there is nothing. It's a storm in a teacup of ideological thinking. For example, Rigathi says, stick to your constituency. The president says, no. The role of member of parliament, representation for your constituency, for the people, and legislation for national, and oversight for national, move around the country. So the president has set the record straight. That is what takes precedence, and that's what everybody follows.
But here is a political spin-off, because...
So trying to spin, I see what media is spinning, because now it forms the splashes, it forms the splashes, and you want to create like there is a real big war. Let me tell you, in Kenya Kwanza, and the president has stated, and I believe it also in leadership, you must mentor young leaders to come up. And I think that mentorship philosophy is what has created some discomfort at some quarters. And then to me, there is nothing wrong with young leaders preparing themselves for the future. And you can see the preparation of the young leaders and positioning themselves is not only restricted to UDA, it is in ODM, it is where, it is everywhere, which is okay. So, and I think this is one of the emerging element in the growth of our democracy as a country. We have grown very far. Now, this phenomenon that we are witnessing is automatically born out of careful growth of our democracy. That now we are talking about mentorship of young leaders. What happens? How do they prepare themselves for tomorrow? And the president is very clear. All institutions and mentor young leaders for tomorrow, and I believe in that. And probably that is one item that has not gotten a stable equilibrium. It's something that will eventually settle down.
Thank you.
And if you are expecting to see UDA crumbling, you are in for surprises. It's going to be a very big thing. And as far as we are concerned, in UDA, the party leader is William Ruto, the president. The deputy party leader is Rigathi Gachagua.
All right.
The rest are generals and troops.
So
some of them are preparing for the future. Thank you. It is within their democratic right.
It seems
and nobody is going to gag them. You cannot gag.
Right.
You can't.
No. I want to ask, it seems you're privy to these young leaders who are being groomed. And if at all it's being handled in the wisest of fashion, would you also just give us the names of these leaders who are being groomed, and why also is the deputy president taking special umbrage with these young leaders who are being groomed? Of course, everyone will want a good mentorship, or is it being handled?
In the best. Let me tell you, for avoidance of doubt, and you can look for clips, the president has stated very clearly that we must mentor young leaders for tomorrow. And what the president is doing is to give general guidance. He is not picked on specific individuals. They are members of parliament. In parliament, it's up to you as a member of parliament or as a young leader. You don't need to be in parliament to organize yourself, think nationally, and work nationally, get out of your ethnic cocoons, and begin looking at the future of Kenya and prepare yourself. Look at, for example...
So Rigathi Gachagua is shooting in the darkness.
William Ruto was not mentored by anybody. William Ruto struggled through the ranks after Moi exited in Rift Valley.
So he
found his space.
He was not a protege of Moi.
He struggled to get his space.
Okay.
He struggled to get his space.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
As Deputy President, he struggled to get his space, and that is what he's saying. Can you struggle to get your space? Nobody is going to prop anyone. We can't prop anybody in UDA. We cannot prop weak abilities. It is you to come out with your abilities and work. And as you do so, you work, and merit will sell you. This should be a country of merit and not ethnicity.
Thank you, Sosyon. Let me bang my bell there.
Let me make it very simple. We make it very complex. You say the party leader is the president. The deputy party leader is the deputy president.
Of course.
Now, months before, we were not worried about their relationship. Now we are worried. That in itself is saying something. Now, in a working system, if there is a difference on what one has said, it's never really said in public. So if the deputy president has said something in public, and the president finds it necessary to actually correct that in public,
respond in public.
What would you have expected a harmonious working party to do? That is something that would have been cast at the party level, and the matter would quickly just die away. Now, you are saying that in DP, the issue of Mount Kenya is, in UDA, the issue of Mount Kenya is very, very important. So, what it has been and what looked like was that in Mount Kenya, UDA, the main person was then the DP, and he's been trying very hard to be the main person, and it looked to us from far that the president was happy with that. This is his man who is now having control, so whatever he handles, that is within
he has no problem
us.
with that arrangement. He has no problem with that arrangement.
Suddenly, in Mount Kenya, their group, now you want to, the Honorable Sosyon wants to call them young people that are being groomed or looking for their own growth, which is good. Now, that growth of theirs, as much as it is good, it is showing us that there is one group for the deputy president, and there's one group against the deputy president.
Those
the
are
one
your
that
own
is
words.
Against,
No.
It is
like
clear.
the word against.
Yes.
Can he finish?
Let me finish. Let me finish. You know, whatever we say, you know, the problem about the reality of life is that if you deny it, it comes out. It's like a pregnancy. A baby will have to come out one day. If a woman keeps saying, I'm not pregnant, and we have seen your tumbo is big like this, we wait, the baby will come out. So now, one group seems not to be for the deputy president, and one against. And the one that seems to be against is the one that is going all around the country, and in the words of Honorable Sosyon, these are people grooming themselves or developing themselves for future leadership. What the future leadership, which one is it? In the best circumstance, it'd be saying this would then be 2032, because you assume 27, it is still the president. No, that's how it works. Now, what would the deputy president also be looking at in 2032? Exactly what these young people are looking for. So they are not together. If they are not together, they are split. If they are split, the party is split. Now, we can go and say all many things, but when we see a young man who probably is not known in the past to be extremely wealthy, going all over the country, using choppers, giving out a lot of money,
buying shares,
say, why?
Eye-popping figure on shares as well, right?
So that is what we are observing. I'll tell Honorable Sosyon, we are not creating anything, we are just telling our observations and interpreting them. Now, you can interpret them the way you want, but their reality is being seen on the ground. I would not have expected in normal working circumstances that the deputy president would be holding major events in Mount Kenya while the president is actually in Western, in Bungoma. I would expect them to be there throughout, as has been before. Now, suddenly, it's this side, and what he's saying this side, the president says a totally different thing the other side. What are we expecting? Us as a school child. what he thinks is happening, they'll tell you this is the reality. There is a problem in UDA. How it will come out, you may say it will come out strong, you say it will come out true. And another thing, there are things that are natural. We have seen it from 1963. The president and the deputy president, they never go together for long. Why you want us to believe that this thing is going to be different? We saw Jomo Kenyatta and Jaramogi Oginga. We saw Moi and Karanja and Saitoti
and
Kibaki. We saw those differences coming in. We saw
Uhuru
Kenyatta
and Ruto.
Now, when we are seeing the same thing, you want to tell us, now this is different. It's not different. And I've asked myself, me have been thinking, what is the biology or the sociology that deputy presidents eventually fall out? But I think that the natural thing about it is, who is closest to the job of the president is the deputy.
Yeah, it is.
So if one is to be concerned and worried, it's about the deputy. This is natural. Don't put the Root, President Ruto and Gachagua, just say president and the deputy and leave those names out. That is the closest. And if then you see, this one who is close is gathering so much power, what you must do, clip him. How do you clip him? Get some little guys to start bothering him around, and then you control him.
That's the wrong conclusion.
No, it's not wrong.
But you know,
the way you're smiling, he knows I'm right.
It's actually analytical and logistical.
Wrong analysis.
This is that is the mentorship. That is the mentorship that is ongoing.
Basically.
To ruffle the feathers.
Yeah, to ruffle the feathers.
The apple cart.
Exactly. Because, you know, if you look at it, and I think the good thing is Honorable Sosiona has gone to school and is able to analyze things. When you analyze and logically put things into place, what is happening is nothing new. Yeah. And Kenyans are very diligent. They can pick it even before you say it. Yeah. I'm telling you, what is happening in Central Kenya is more of a scenario like now. You remember the Karanja Mwenje situation, where Mwenje was used by Moi in a very simple way.
That is Joseph Karanja.
Yeah, Joseph Karanja, the vice president. Yeah, the vice president. Yeah. He was actually kicked out of that position by Mwenje. And Mwenje was a backbencher. Nobody.
And when Saitoti said, watch Arudi kama akirudi, itaongeza ugali kwa sufuria.
Yes, you see. So that's what happened. And then even look at the way Saitoti was also played out. Yeah. You know, when they went for the KANU delegates, and Saitoti and Kamodo, you know, that's the time when he said that there comes a time when the nation is... So these things, we have seen them. And we're just analyzing your honorable decision. We're analyzing and we're saying, since we are smart, we can see the trend. And the trend, the way the things are moving now, unless things change, I can tell you for sure, we'll be discussing another, next year we might be discussing a different
the best analogy
a different is
was it Kasarani? George kama hakuna. And that is what we are seeing.
Yes, what do you say?
George kama hakuna.
And the truthful man is speaking the truth.
No.
He's not speaking the truth.
So,
I'm not saying. I cannot comment what I cannot.
Wacha vijana watembee, and somebody put it here, wacha vijana watangatanga. It is something that you can even get words from the last regime and bring it here.
You know what, Debar?
So this is a
you know what, Debar?
It's a replay of the script.
We are living in a country where we have seen political events, and that is what they are alluding to. And trying to use the political events of the past to project that it will actually happen the same way, I think is wrong. In the past, we may have had political leaders or presidents who viewed their deputies differently. That is not what William Ruto is doing. William Ruto, I am sure, as far as we know, within the party framework, respects and Rigathi Gachagua as his deputy, but he has also stated very clearly that going into the future, he even stated that a president, if it is a lady, then the deputy should be a male. That's a fact. It's not about individuals. It's about the future, and it's about the right thing to be done in the future, and it should be stated as much. And as for mentoring young people, it is the right thing to do, and that's what political parties should do. We should not be afraid the consequences of the same. There will be conflicts. There will be fallout for a while, but everybody will accept. We are not on this scene forever. We shall exit. Makale Muli, you are not the MP forever.
Allow me to
you are not the MP Seme forever. You will go. But then the people of Seme, you should prepare and guide them. You know, you provide some guidance. Yesterday, Deval, Senator Methu was in Kakamega, and he said, I am 33 years. That was in Bungoma. And he said, he is 33 years, and he's thinking of being president in 2042. And he wants Didmas Barasa to be his running mate. There is nothing wrong if they work towards 2042, and Kenyans elect them on merit. We don't need to do politics that are shrouded in mystery. Let us not be mysterious. Let us be open. And I know what the president has stated. He means it, mentoring young leaders. It's not an individual, but all of them. No, prepare. We're all in agreement. If you get to the backyard of Rift Valley, for example, where the president comes from, there are so many members of parliament who are running around. As you want to be the kingpin, they are preparing for the future. And the president has made no comment. He has not interfered. He cannot interfere. Why this side? Why this side? He has not interfered. Why has he not interfered? Why this side? And he will not interfere. He has talked. You will wait for Jesus to come back to see the president interfering with the free will and democratic rights of young politicians and people preparing themselves. I don't want to wait for Jesus Christ. He is not going to interfere. He's not going to interfere. And he stated it very clearly. Yeah. Let us mentor young people. What is wrong with that? Why now? There must be, and let me tell you for sure. Why now? You know, and let me tell you for sure. You are 2 years in office. You don't wait when you exit office, then you start a program. Why not to make it together with your deputy? Yes, they will do it together. Why they not doing it together? What he states as the president is a statement of the presidency together with the deputy. And what that is a philosophy. And what the deputy states, and it is not going to change. And what the deputy states? If the deputy states to the contrary, the president has the right to correct. And he has made those corrections. So we don't have two centers of direction. It is one. And eventually, yes, you can do so publicly. But then other things will be done internally. Excuse me. Yes. And you must understand our president. Our president is very honest and is not going to promote those activities of undermining leaders in office. We know him. He's honest. He will give you a job. He will leave you to do your job. He will not interfere with you. You will behave the way you want. You'll do things the way you want. He will not interfere, and he has not interfered anywhere, political activities of any member of the party or government. He has not, even including ministers, and he's not going to Thank you. So if you are going to wait for Kasarani, I need to wait for
I need to get my word in edgeways as well, because I need to ask. So if you were seeing this playing in the public gallery, is there no consultation between the president and the deputy president that we have to see all this happening and the correction happening in the public gallery? If they're one.
Let me tell you, the president and the deputy, they have their own levels of consultation. None of us will get to that, and I won't comment about it. I am sure we saw the president, the deputy president escorting the president yesterday to seeing him off to South Korea. And in consultations, you may not necessarily exhaust everything the way you want. And
as a ticklish matter, you know, Korea, you're trying to obfuscate matters.
I'm not obscuring. The president and the deputy will always consult. That's what we know.
So there was a miss out of consultation on this?
Where? On what? When Rigathi goes to the mountain and talks about mountain issues, that has got nothing to do with the president.
About constituencies.
That is a personal opinion of Rigathi. You may not consult on everything. Why do you rebuke him in public? You don't need to consult on everything that you want to speak. You are democratically free. Makale Muli, you go to your constituency. Do you consult?
Just a moment. Honorable Susion.
In terms of speech.
You know the government protocol. Even just you appearing sometimes on these forums as well. Even the principal secretary, any person in the public office will have to consult.
And by the way, when I appear here,
I know.
I appear on my own. I don't consult, and I speak what I know, and I speak what I believe and what is the best
I'll
of my
accept
knowledge
that what you
within
believe.
government.
Yeah, but
And
because
also
here,
speak
no,
what I
here-
believe.
no, here we speak out of,
speak what I believe.
it's not within the docket of
Yes.
tourism. I mean, this is political issues that we're talking
So I
about.
speak what
but,
I believe.
But what I'm trying to emphasize is, the protocol of government.
Yeah, of course, it's protocol of government, but then...
Yeah, the deputy will not just come and trip off anything of his tongue if the president is not privy to it.
Use the tool of protocol to try and create a division, that it is not going to work. The DP is entitled...
All right.
The deputy
But
president
I think time will
is
tell.
entitled to his own
Let's
comments.
just make it simple.
He is entitled to engage in all political activities the way he wants.
Thank you.
One simple statement.
But the president has provided leadership. That is what all of us will follow.
Let me tell you simply. We are observing a difference in protocol between the president and the deputy, which we have not observed before. I leave it there.
No, don't bring the president.
Yeah.
Don't bring the president.
Let's hear from
Don't
Harry
bring the president to this altercation. The president has acted presidential. Everybody is expecting that the president is going to bash the deputy, is going to bash so and so. The president does not exist to do so. The president believes in personal democratic freedom of individuals. He's not going to interfere. What is very keen about is proper governance.
That's what you believe.
Yes, very strong.
All right, let's hear from Honorable Makali. Thank you, Sosion.
And that is his
Thank you,
standpoint.
Sosion.
You know the
So if
bar,
you expect
Thank
war,
you, Sosion.
you are not going to
Sosion
witness
also
it.
allow us to say something.
Thank you,
You can't dominate all this talk for the rest of the time. We also want to give our views. You said you are giving your personal opinion, which is good.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is,
And what I know.
even as you give your personal opinion, people are watching and analyzing your statements. The truth of the matter, in a proper governance structure, where you have a boss and a deputy, it's not normal for a deputy to respond to what the boss says in public.
Indeed.
It's not a secret. And anytime you start seeing them addressing each other publicly, then it says there's a problem. The problem might be a small problem. It could be a bigger problem. But the fact that you can't walk to your boss's office and tell him, boss, this matter, I think, as you said it, I was not comfortable with it. And this is my opinion. What do you think? So that you discuss and leave it at there. One is in Eldoret addressing people. Another one is in Mount Kenya addressing people. And we're talking about the presidency. It doesn't work like that. Even if, I don't want to use the word blind because blind are people who are disabled differently. But where I come from would say even the blind would see that there's a problem.
Even a child will see.
Even a child will see. So when the Socian tries to defend the obvious, I think it's not helping our viewers.
I'm not defending, but I'm stating.
The truth of the matter is there are issues, and we are not saying the issues cannot be sorted out. They can still sort the issues out and go back to where they started. Because when they started, one would take a lot of time to address us when we were these are like what we had in Mandaraka Day, one would take a lot of time to address us, tell us all this. The other would come and compliment what the other said. They will be there saying, I'm supporting my boss. The other will be saying, I'm supporting my deputy. But I think the cracks are obvious, the cracks are obvious. Let them seal the cracks and we will be happy. Yes, I can't want them to seal the cracks. Because what is going to happen now, and this is the truth of the matter, when they have those cracks, it is Kenyans who will suffer because service delivery will be compromised. Imagine if people who are on the same page, not talking the same language, and they're expected to unite the country and serve the country. So what is happening? Each one of them now and their camps are pulling differently. The other day we were here, and you see, when things are like this, it is now cutting deals. So which camp cuts bigger deals than the other one? In preparation for 2027, because what is happening now, everybody now think about 2027, saying, I'm sure wherever the deputy president is sleeping, he is asking himself, if I will not be the deputy president 2027, as per the science now, what should I do to prepare myself for that time? So as he answers those questions, there are things he will start doing which he was not doing when he was sure that 2027 will be a smooth sail to the next term. It is now not automatic that it will be a smooth sail. So he must prepare himself for that time. And preparing might mean start now looking for resources from all corners of this country, start creating your own camps, as he is doing now,
start consolidating Mount Kenya, even apologizing to the elders, those you have in the past abused, so that you have a team behind you. And doing this is expensive. I'm telling you, yesterday I was reading the papers. Yesterday there were about over 10 members of parliament who accompanied him to Meru. Do you think for somebody who is in the government to be accompanied by 10 members of parliament, it just takes normal accompaniment? Where I say, today I'm walking up in the morning and I'm driving to Meru. It's not that way. More likely, you fuel the vehicles of these members of parliament. I'm not saying they cannot fuel themselves, but they are coming to your function. You have invited them to a function. So these are the issues, and these are the underlying issues which might not be said publicly. But I can tell you for sure, service delivery will suffer so long as these cracks continue for the next 4 years. And we saw during Uhuru's term. Now, I've seen some people saying, now Honorable Raila has taken the position of Deputy President. Far from the truth. Honorable Raila is not in the government. Neither is Kalonzo in the government. As Mio, we have our own team intact. Let them sort their issues without bringing Azimio into them. And I think by that way, then, although, as we are saying, if they don't serve Kenyans well, we are there to provide alternative government, 2027. And I can assure Kenyans that alternative government might be better than the government we have.
Is the Deputy President speaking truth or more truth than he should?
Dibali, you're
because
asking
also
me,
these are statements that, of course...
You know, I cannot speak on behalf of the Deputy President.
No. The reason I'm asking this is because, of course...
He's free to speak what he likes, what he wants, and we know him for that, and we have no problem with that.
Even some matters that...
He's free to go to Mount Kenya.
Even some matters that are a bit squeamish.
He's free to go to Mount Kenya. He's free
personal.
to go anywhere in the country. He's the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya and make statements. But I think trying to read too much and talk about...
You're not listening to what I'm asking you.
Yes.
Even when you speak about truth that is very squeamish and personal.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And why should we be so mysterious that we can't even speak our feelings? And if he has done so, that's it.
But
that
because
is Rigathi Gachagua.
We know. What we see in the public gallery, there's so much that is underlying
let me tell you,
than what
that is
the
why
public gallery is
there
seeing.
There is a lot of misreading. There is a lot of misreading.
It is not about even the constituents.
Rigathi Gachagua is being taken out of the ticket of 2027. Far from the truth. Nobody has discussed 2027 because that will require the party. It will require many things. That is, those are non-factual conclusions from those who are outsiders of UDA and this administration. Seeing Gachagua going to the mountain and talking and talking unity in the mountain about his own people, which is okay, it's normal. There's nothing wrong. That's a political right of Rigathi Gachagua. But at the end of the day, he remains the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. He's the principal assistant of the President. The Constitution is clear, and they will continue working together. No problem about that. So reading too much and thinking that there will be a lot of turmoil that is going to affect governance and delivery of services is out of place. That I can assure you. Let Rigathi Gachagua exercise his democratic right to express himself. Let the president lead as he's doing, and he's not going to invite himself into this type of conflicts. He will continue focusing on the major things of economic transformation of the country, and the agenda that is very clear, and which is a common script that is understood by all of us, including the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. All these other issues, the fundamental ideological differences that exist, will eventually find its own equilibrium. That I can assure you. But let me tell you,
thank you.
Expecting a fallout within the UDA, Jesus Christ will come back as you wait to see
Let me just say one thing.
We'll make sure
Let me say one thing.
We'll play that clip if that really happens.
Honorable Susion is right when he says those are people who are not the inside of UDA and who are talking like that. But I want to let it come out. If there was issues within Azimio, within ODM, within other party, the country will be concerned. but not as much as if there are problems within UDA, because that is the party that is actually the executive that is running our country. So a fallout there is likely to affect us very immediately. We therefore, as Kenyans, have a right to be concerned, to interpret, and therefore they have a duty that their appearance, their behavior to us outside must be in such a way that it keeps our mind at peace, because they owe a lot. So now
go home, relax, and take
we cannot take Honorable Sosion's word. What we do is what we observe, the Deputy President saying, what we observe the President saying, what we observe people who are close, moving around, using resources. We are not sure. We have to suspect that these resources are from our resources. I mean, if it was Azimio using resources, we can say, okay, if it was another using resources, we have no reason to link it with the resources. But if people who are running our system are doing those things, we are concerned. If they're using resources extravagantly, and Dibal, I was in a funeral where people were related to UDA, were in a funeral, and when they are giving sadaka after the prayer, there was money in a bag, and it was being said, this is for the choir. There's a small boy carrying a bag with money. This is for the choir. This is for washing the clothes of the JJ. And at that time, this country, doctors are on strike, teachers are on strike. The counties don't have money to pay KEMSA. And we as a people, we are concerned. The people who are managing us are behaving in a way we don't like, talking in a way we don't like. We have a reason to be concerned more than even other coalitions because of the responsibility they have to us.
Indeed. All right, let's give our closing remarks. We'll begin with you, Dr. Makali.
Oh, said and done, Debao. This country is facing a lot of challenges, and I think it's time we become more prudent with our resources. As Honorable Nyikao says, we have GSS teachers who are on strike. They are asking for more money. And you've seen the confusion between TSC and the ministry. I remember last week we did say we allocated money for them to be employed from July this year. That's what the budget committee has proposed. The TSC director comes up and says January next year. So you wonder, from a policy perspective, who is saying the truth? And our children are suffering in schools because nobody's teaching them. How I wish they could harmonize in terms of policy direction so that we get the acts together. The second point is the country is going through a lot of hardship in terms of liquidity, actually the cash to do the work. We are facing challenges. And one of the things we are picking is, even though we are doing the budget on paper, implementation of the budget is suffering a lot because of exchequer releases. And I think it's time we allowed the budget to be implemented as passed by Parliament. In that case, we'll be helping the country. Otherwise, as we always say, we would lose hope. We'll continue. But let Kenyans know that there's an alternative government in waiting. If this one doesn't perform, 2027, we can change and give a chance to another government.
Honorable Sosion? Yes, I don't think we need to paint hopelessness in our country. The president is very firm about recausing the economy and structuring the economy very well, and you've seen what he's doing in terms of international relations and cooperations and restarting the economy properly in the country. That one is not in doubt. Then number two, the budget process is coming up, and I believe once the budget is passed, that will open doors for further implementation of various investment programs across the ministries, particularly the implementation of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, which is dear to the president, particularly supporting our farmers and revitalizing the production sector of the economy. And very lastly, this confusion around employment of teachers in this country, I think it is being taken out of proportion. The education charter which the president committed, and the president himself has a structured plan on how to employ the shortfall of 116,000 teachers through a process of, first of all, internship, and 56,000 teachers are already onboarded. And in this budget, 8.4 billion has been allocated to convert 26,000 to PNP.
Let's leave it at that. Thank you.
2.4 to onboard 20,000.
Thank you.
And so the program is not going to change. Thank you. It is not going to be shaken.
Thank you,
By the end of time, we shall have our public school system fully staffed and curriculum being delivered.
Thank you. Honorable Nyika, you close
the president and the Kenya Kwanza government, in my view, should actually tone down this heightened political activity and focus in delivering services to our people, particularly in the health, sex and education. JSS is not working as should be. Health and education are key. If they don't do anything else, that is my parting shot.
Thank you for your parting shot. And of course, tomorrow, we've tasked you, remember. Yeah, that point of order should be also...
And there's public participation in finance bill.
And participation in finance bill, yeah. Kenyans will actually go out and also give their views regarding the financial bill 2024-2025. Thank you very much for your valued company. You've been watching Standpoint here on Morning Prime. Don't go away, News Diary is up next.